I mean, X-ray vision. Those glasses, they're not just gadgets. You know, they got some special things going on. But he's actually playing Wraith, as you can see, because he has the heirloom as well, the kunai knife. You're going to be able to dazzle some people with as he's running around. But this battle's been going on now. We can see the bubble fight going down, and a couple of teams being contested. One of those teams is going to be Timmy's team. Frex is going to be taking some damage. See one of the NRG competitive roster for X on the Gibraltar, the legend that he does play in the competitive scenario, but Timmy's going to pick up one. He's going to be knocked as well, so now it comes down to Synced to try and finish this off. Some shots onto the player below, and that is going to be the clean wipe as well. So actually, there's one more player alive. Excuse me, I thought he managed to completely wipe this team, but there's still one player alive. It's going to be a 1v1 battle, and finally gets the job done. He'll be able to res his two teammates, and now we're down to 17 squads.
And for any team who is going to be underneath it, combine it with Horizon's ultimate, and it becomes one of the most toxic things you could do in this game. So I'm surprised no one's gone for it.
You know what? To throw Revenant in there as well. Totem beforehand, death protection. let's just go full toxic. But I mean, this lobby at the moment, I'm super impressed with how everyone's playing. Everything's started to slow down a little bit. I think maybe some of the early game jitters have gone. Teams have started to feel a little bit more comfortable on how they want to fight, how they want to rotate. And one of those teams here is, of course, Animal's team, with IPN and Hundreds. As we see 15 squads still remaining. So after those early engagements, no teams have dropped whatsoever. And that means the further we get towards this end game, even though we're only seeing this second ring closing at the moment, it means we're going to see some big decisions have to be made, which can completely shape how a team's performance is in that final moment.
It probably means we'll get to that one circle where we're just going to see absolute carnage unfold, and probably 6, 7, 8 teams will drop at once. We are starting to see a couple of names drop in the kill feed. Streamer mode is enabled for some of these players, so that makes our life great and really easy to read who is going down. Pathfinder and Wraith being eliminated on the kill feed.
Yeah, I really can't shoot.
But of course, they want to protect themselves.
That was
Pathfinder 3694.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I want to make sure that we give the right information across.
But they just want to protect themselves from being stream sniped by the teams that are in the lobby with them anyway.
I might
imagine.
It's fine. It's understandable.
Pick that up.
Here's another ammo stack.
Well, Team Lulu inside of not only the next circle, but the one after that as well, playing the low ground under where we saw a couple of fights going on, and just checking corners at the moment, Bowser, to make sure that there's no one, no sneaky rats around who can compromise their game as they move forward a little bit. But R9 and a wingman in hand as well. He's going to have a more than ample weaponry to do damage at close range and short range. And Caleb, did you see that? Did you see for just a second there was a trident down? Trident there as well! Trident!
I'm just gonna drop shit.
Get in the trident!
You might as well grab literally everything. Ammo, everything. Just drop everything in your inventory.
They're not going to get the trident. Wait. No, I thought it was bubbling. They're bubbling. See, you might think that they're looting here. What they're doing is they're bubbling the trident.
I want to grab that shit.
Yeah, they're protecting it.
Because it's pretty much indestructible.
I
But
want to grab the attachments for my R9, but I just can't give up the spot.
But the reason why it is quite good to have a trident in late game is you can use it for extra cover. Something that some teams will use. They will drive it in, and then it's something you can kind of dive behind.
Okay. I'll get it.
In a map where there is very limited cover in certain areas, trident can be a very helpful tool.
Like I said, I can't give up the spot. I'm not going to.
the 14 squads now remaining. We're seeing a little bit of fighting going down. It's going to be Timmy's team who are on the receiving end of some knocks and actually going to be finished off as well. So we're down to 14 squads now. Dropped Lou and Rogue trying to plan their next rotation, and you can see they're comfortable for now. But this is where big decisions have to be made by teams. How do we want to try and force our way into the circle? What areas are free to play? How do we try and scout that area that's in front of us to find out which buildings are available? Can we see teams in front of us who may have hit the beacon? It's all these sort of things that you've got to try and make the decision for. And one team that's made a pretty good decision at the moment and is still alive in the lobby is Daltouche's team, the Hemlock in hand as well. But no trident. Maybe next game, Touche. Maybe next game.
I mean, you've mentioned it a couple of times, but just watching this man play Apex, and probably any other game, to be honest, is just sheer entertainment. He will put on a show for you. He's probably going to be slightly more competitive, I would imagine, in this tournament, because, as I said, decent amount of prize pool up for grabs and a chance to prove yourself in the community and whatnot. But when he is playing solo and he's searching ranked, he's just so funny, and he just does disgusting things at the same time, which is what always impresses me. How someone can entertain a chat, kind of interact with a chat, play the game in a way where they're still putting on a show. It blows my mind every single time.
Yes! Yes! TSM are doing it! They're on the trident! And they're using it to get a respawn as well. How's been taken down. They were coming under a little bit of fire here, and teams, if they recognize that this is TSM, might apply a little bit more pressure than they would have previously. So for Snipe Down and Reps, they've got to be super careful here to hold off this team that's trying to push, because although they have managed to get How back in and hit that beacon to get the respawn, they have to be careful to stop him getting knocked in the air. He's already taken some damage as he's fallen down. They're going to drop him some heals, but How needs to survive here. And Snipe Down and Reps need to do the damage. Snipe Down's doing what he can with his scalp. How has knocked, and now Snipe Down goes down as well. It's all up to Reps.
All up to Reps, but you can heal yourself through the red ever so slightly if you have enough heals. Reps is going to be the last remaining player with Snipe Down going. He is going to jump in the Trident. He is going to try and get away, but as I said, you just take so much damage when you're in the Trident. Just manages to get in, but oh dear, he runs straight into another spot.
Keep going,
Just keep going. Drive.
To the bell.
All I do is walk in and play the fucking wall like I said.
All we do is walk in and play the flipping wall, as Reps said. And they didn't do that, unfortunately. And TSM will be out, and that's great news for the rest of the lobby here. The lobby leaders, 2 wins in 2 games, will not be picking up as many points. That means other points are available for teams to close that gap.
And of course it means someone else could potentially leapfrog them, get the chance to be that team who sets the match point threshold, and of course put themselves on match point going into match 5. As a reminder, you couldn't have 2 teams going into match 5 on match point. Unless maybe they tied, maybe that is something in the rules that I do need to look at, but basically, if a team goes into finishes match 4 and they're on 50 points, for example, they will be the only team on match point going into match 5. Everyone else in match 5 then needs to reach 50 points to be able to put themselves on match point going into match 6. It sounds like I'm saying a lot of words, but it does make a lot of sense if you look at it on a graphic.
Shiny's team kind of caught between a rock and a hard place at the moment, and that grenade narrowly missed him, but he's coming under so much damage. As the Gibraltar going to be forced to drop down into this little moat to pop a battery to get his shields back up to full HP. And his teammate Reptar here.
You're gonna
Pop in his ultimate beast of the hunt to get some scans down to try and work out where they can push. But you can see in 20 seconds they did have a team to their east. There was a team in front of them to their north as well. So it looks like they're going to have to fight their way into this next circle. And they've only got around 15 seconds or so to make that move.
Here.
Take your step back.
Communication seems quite calm though between the 3 of them. I'm going to be completely honest.
I have one bat, one top.
Slightly different to the comms we heard of Imperial Howl's squad.
Get the port around the wall as close as you can. We can bubble our feet if we have to.
Okay, they're right here.
You can see they do have the bubble available. They are going to have to now push in with the zone closing very shortly, but the portal is going to be there. They're going to drop in, but they are going to be under a little bit of fire when they come out. So they have to either fight or flight. They went for flight, but unfortunately the other team was ready to flight. Shiny going to be the last remaining member. Is going to be able to get the bat off? No, he's not, because he decides he has to get away. He just wants to survive and get this bat and try and rat out to get some extra placement points in this situation.
But you can see though, quite a lot of the zone that's going to be pulling here not playable. So Shiny is going to be coming under a little bit of fire above him. It looks like the team above him might be a solo player, or it might be a full team, but I don't think they're aware that Shiny might be the last player alive on his team. So they're not choosing to push, but Shiny actually not in the worst of positions here. If he can stay alive for a little bit of time, as I believe that's Albrelelli's team above him, with the Mastiff going to take him down. Albrelelli actually does hit him, as well as Madness, so a combination of the 2 players finish off that team. He wasn't too far away from the zone there, so she could have been a little bit quiet and maybe not shown that presence, might have had the opportunity to do some damage. But one team who are doing damage, and of course Albrelelli has been involved in pretty much every single endgame fight so far for his team. Well, they're inside the top 3, and maybe they have the chance to close this one out.
It's a really good chance when they were in second coming into this game. They were 9 points behind Imperial Hell's side, and just having this Pathfinder to give yourself that extra height is something a lot of these teams are lacking, because we're not seeing many Pathfinders being run in the current competitive Apex settings. But being able to just get up to high ground in various different scenarios can be so advantageous. And now in the top 3, if Albrelelli's team can walk away with a victory here, as well as the KP they've already been able to secure, there's no reason why they can't leapfrog TSM and take first place going into that match number 4.
Yeah, now we're aboard with Girls Team, one of the ALGS commentators.
Let's go!
Commentating alongside her, and she's doing it for me, doing it for Dan, doing it for everyone, as they find themselves inside of that top 3. Something I did want to note, though, was with Albrelelli's positioning, as Girls team try and make their way in here as his two teammates were holding down the building in zone. Abralelli playing slightly away from them as the Pathfinder, trying to just hold down as much ground as possible. And you can do that as a Pathfinder because you have that grapple to return to your team if you do take a little bit of damage, which they now have done. Girls team taking a lot of damage as the defensive bombardment is going to come in from the Gibraltar, and that is because there is a lot of movement about to be forced because that ring is going to be closing, and it looks like Madness, Abralelli, and Vaxlong are trying to take a fight themselves.
Yeah, they've all got red armor, but they are going to be involved in a three-way fight here. Girls team are going to be on the other side, and I'm sure they're going to dive straight in as soon as they see there's any sort of weakness. Abralelli, very low at this point, does need to heal up, but because he's Pathfinder, he can get up, and away, heal straight back up, and we've seen 2 members go down now, so that's going to be 2 squads left, and CLG / TSM / whoever they are at this point, Abralelli's squad are in prime position to win this game.
Yeah, good shots there from Vaxlon as well on the Gibraltar to put some damage down, and here comes the push coming in from his teammates as well. Abralelli and Madness can combine here to close out game number 3. And even though they've been involved in those final battles for the first 2 games, they hadn't managed to close it out, but now they've changed that. Game number 3 does go to Team Abralelli.
Oh man, this is a big swing as far as our standings are going to go, because remember, they were behind by 9 points. First place is worth 12, and TSM went down, or Imperial House team went down relatively early for the final placement point totals. So we could really see those 2 teams really even at the end of the day here, and I'm excited. I'm excited